Hello, tragedists and trick shooters. My name is TB Skyen, and it's happening! It's happening. It's happening. It is happening. It's going to happen. It's going to be happening. It is going to have been happening, happened. And Arcane Season 2 finally has its first teaser trailer. Now, if you want to get my instant reaction, my immediate, like, watching this goddamn trailer for the first time and talking about it, that is over on my reaction channel, which you'll find a link to that in the description and in the comments down below, where I just my immediate reactions to the goddamn thing, some immediate harebrained theories about what's going on there. You can go and do that. But over here in this particular video, we're gonna go through this whole goddamn thing frame by motherfrickin' frame, and we're gonna talk about just about everything that I have spotted happening in this particular trailer and all my thoughts and ideas about what the hell might actually be going on. And the main thing that I think is going on is that this trailer is lying. It is lying to us. It is lying through its teeth right into our open faces. And that's not new. They did the same thing with the trailer for Season 1. That trailer included like multiple shots, actually, that just didn't appear in the final show at all, either because they were intentionally misdirecting us or because those shots just happened to get cut before the final season actually came out. So looking at this trailer, we're going to take everything with a grain of salt, because there are multiple times that I spotted that the trailer is deliberately misleading you about what is happening and what is going to be happening. One of the things that I think, for example, is that pretty much every single shot in this teaser trailer, or at least the majority of them, I think they are all from the first act of the show, like the first 3 episodes of the thing. Maybe there's a few from the second act or something slightly deeper into it, but I really do think they're limiting themselves to only the early parts of the story. And yeah, one of the things that's not in this trailer is basically any sign of Victor and Jace, except a couple of things. We'll get to those once we get there. It is all focusing exclusively on Vi and Jinx. And let's actually just get into it immediately, because I want to focus in on one particular lie that the trailer is telling us. And this is going to be unedited, a little bit unstructured. And there's going to be a bunch of that clippy audio going on. Actually, I should make that stop happening. Just give me a moment. It's a setting in a Premiere Pro that I just need to turn off. There we go. Here is where the trailer tells you its first lie.
My sister is gone.
That's the first lie. Here's the second. That's also a lie. It's a lie of omission. It's not like an obvious lie, but it is a lie. And a couple of other lies. One of them happens somewhere around the explosion with the thing. Let's see. There's a lie. And there's a lie, right? We'll get to them, but just pin those in the back of your head for now. And let's just start at the very, 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 very beginning. So we open, it looks like, in the aftermath of the assault on the council building, right? And we hear the voiceover from Ambessa and Noxus saying that your council is dead, now there must be vengeance, right? Essentially, she's talking to someone, saying that the council is dead, now only war is left. And I draw a couple of conclusions from this. First of all, Jace isn't dead. We know this because he can't be dead. He's a champion. He can't really die if Arcane is going to be like the main source of the canon going forward. The creators of Arcane have argued, no, champions are definitely available to die in Arcane. And I kind of don't believe them very much. Like, maybe they're going to swing for that. Maybe Riot is going to have some answer to as to why a champion who is dead is nonetheless not dead in the canon. Who knows? But Jace is not going to be dead here. And I have another reason for thinking that. We'll get that to that later down the line. But I think Mel is. I think Mel just might actually be dead here. But someone who is definitely dead, 110% for sure dead, is Caitlyn's mother. I believe Mrs. Kyrian is definitely dead, and that is going to be the source of a lot of like the social tension and the conflict between Vi and Caitlyn in the show. Because Caitlyn is going to have a pretty goddamn compelling reason to, want to fucking kill Jinx. I believe, like, because she says the council is dead, that means definitely Mrs. Kyrian is dead. Jace might be grievously injured. That's entirely possible. And I think so because that would give Victor another reason to try and pursue the Hex Core again, right? To try and use it to cure his friend rather than try and save himself. Maybe he'll use it to try and save Jace. Something along those lines. That's all speculation, though. But we open on, like, the immediate aftermath of the end of Season 1, right? The assault in the council chambers. This is probably after they've cleaned up a little bit there, but, like, just a visual to sort of show that the Council of Piltover is broken and chaos now reigns. Then we swap to a completely different scene. This is nowhere near the council chamber. This is a bunch of sort of Chemtech suit thugs that Vi is sort of walking over who have been defeated, presumably in the aftermath of an attack on whatever the hell this place is. And that podium back there looks an awful lot like the podium that Jace was standing at on Progress Day, announcing like the glorious future of Hextech and sort of failing to push it as far as Victor would have wanted him to. That's what this place looks like to me, and it seems like the Chem thugs have assaulted that place, and this is the aftermath of that battle. Then we have Ambessa. Couple of things here. First of all, that's a somewhat Targonian aesthetic that she's got going on here. Like, not completely, but there's definitely some Targon in there, like this golden mask thing that she's got going on. And like all the gold that she's got on her. And that sort of refers back to some of the stuff we saw in Season 1 where we see this flashback to Mel's childhood where Ambessa sort of like murders a girl in front of her after Mel sort of tries to have a diplomatic solution to the dilemma that's put in front of her. And Ambessa just kind of, no, kill people. And that girl looked kind of Targonian. And that the place that they were in looked sort of kind of Targonian, which sort of implies that Noxus might have a colony in Targon or have some kind of like territorial holdings there, and maybe that's where Medarda is getting this golden mask thing. There's also the lower lip thing here that she's got going on. I don't think she had that in Season 1. I haven't actually gone and checked, but Mel did. So if Ambessa is putting on a bit of decoration on her lip that used to be mostly associated with her daughter, that feels a little bit like the sort of thing a grieving mother might do in tribute. Sort of the same thing with like the white stuff under the eye here. Or on the other hand, of course, it could also be that Mel was doing that because that's how her mother dresses for battle, right? Like, who knows? I still do believe that Mel is probably dead, except, of course, like I said, this trailer is lying to us, so that could be a manipulation from them to make us think that, oh god, Mel is dead. She was in a place, in terms of her story, where her dying in the attack on the council building would make a certain degree of sense. Like, it's her story is resolved enough, and it was sort of introducing Ambessa at the end of it into like as a sort of continuing element where like she dies, it fuels a thirst for revenge in Ambessa's heart, and also becomes like an impetus for Jace. Like he already was like, no, Silco, you gotta hand over Jinx, otherwise there's no deal. We gotta have Jinx. And now, if Jinx has managed to kill Mel, along with the rest of the council, Jace is going to have a pretty compelling reason also to be uncompromising in his approach to the conflict with Zaun going forward. So my working theory is that Mel is dead. Of course, it's entirely possible that after, like, that the thing we saw at the end of Season 1, which was that, like, golden glow on her back from her, like, gold tattoo thing, or whatever gold thing that she's constantly wearing, looked kind of like some Sonya's hourglass sort of magic getting ready to activate, so maybe she's still alive. Like, maybe Jace jumped in front of her to try and protect her, and then her magic went off. Maybe that protected the both of them, and that's why they are alive, but the entire rest of the council is dead. Victor was also present there, though, so we'd need an explanation of how the sickly, nearly dead guy managed to survive that particular explosion. Who knows? My working theory is that Mel is dead, and that her death is going to be like a driving force for the conflict on the character level of Ambessa and Jace in particular. But there's a bunch of Targonian stuff going on here, which I'm interested in because there's a couple of other things in the trailer. There's this temple that seems to be a temple of Janna later on down the line. We'll talk about that once we get there. And then this, if this is Targonian, then, like, okay, are we going to be introducing, like, the idea of the cosmic, like are we going to be introducing like the actual cosmic magic or like just a passing reference to Kale maybe at some point as the aspect of justice? Because Ambessa does very specifically, it's like, you will have justice, right? Like, which feels like that could be an invocation of Kale specifically. I don't think that means that Kale is going to show up, or that Janna is going to show up for that matter, but maybe they're going to incorporate that a little bit as part of the world building. Again, now that Arcane is going to be the center of the canon of League of Legends, maybe they want to start building in like world building details more extensively from outside of Piltover and so on. Would be my initial thoughts on that. This does look very Targonian though. Like I also see like there seems to be some African inspiration in some of the ways that she's decorated here, which I think is really fucking cool. And she's put her hair up in like this very severe hairstyle, which like really does sort of imply that our girl is about to get her murder on, which I'm excited to see personally. Also love the colors, like the black and red of Noxus. Like, again, it's just beautiful. It's just really pretty. Everything in this fucking trailer is really fucking pretty. I'm sort of in a place where I'm like, is there any point commenting on it? Because everything's pretty. Obviously, it's pretty. It's Fortiche. They've never gotten worse at anything ever. This fucking shot. So, is this a Piltover sort of war Zeppelin or something coming out of the sky? Or is this like a herald of a Noxian invasion force that's going to be landing in Piltover? I don't know where exactly this happens either. I don't know either, because the end of season 1, the blood moon was in the sky, right? Like this bright red light, like sort of all over the sky, which sort of makes me think this could, like, immediately I thought, oh, this could be in the immediate aftermath of Jinx blowing up the council tower, and this is Vi sort of running to the scene to see what has happened. But I feel like Vi was a little bit more beat up at the end of season 1, and she seems kind of fine now, so probably some time has passed between then and that. Then we cut to this shot of a bunch of Noxian honor guards, I would imagine, forming this powerful front, bashing on their chests in salute, as a bunch of Piltover police officers stand right behind them. This character over here, who are you? I'm curious about you. That character design could be a little bit too complex to be just a side character, but who knows? Which suggests like both a united front between the Piltover police and the Noxian, like these Noxian armed forces, but also that these Noxian armed forces have superseded the police, that they're standing in front of them, right? Like, they're standing out front, these guys are behind as followers. There is a visual language in this particular frame of empowerment for these guys and disempowerment for those guys. They seem subordinate to the Noxians out in front, which, again, if Ambessa's daughter was just killed, who was like the daughter of an incredibly important, like, noble house in Noxus, maybe Noxus takes that as casus belli, right? Like, as a reason to invade. And the negotiation that happens there is like, okay, we will allow you to sort of lead a manhunt for Jinx to get revenge for the death of your daughter, in return for please don't start a war with us and invade us. Like, we'll cooperate rather than resist you. Which is usually the way that you get along with Noxus, is to just not resist them. And at that point, they're happy to just waltz in and take over the existing power structures. Then we have this guy here. He looks like a Zonite to me. This is something I commented. I did a fucking hour-long reaction to the 12-second clip that they posted back when Netflix posted up its teasers for the thing. And one of the things we saw in that trailer was like the lineup of Caitlyn's strike squad, and this guy looks Sawnite to me, specifically in the way that, first of all, his facial hair doesn't quite look Piltover. Piltover facial hair has a tendency to be more of this shit. Like, these very well-coiffed, like, very well-groomed, close beards, and, like mustaches and things like that. And this guy has a little bit more of a Vander thing going on, right? Like, a little bit more rough around the edges. Like, especially, like, with the braids and, like, the rough hair sort of falling all over the place. He looks a little bit Sawnite in his aesthetic, to me. Which sort of makes me wonder, since we know that there's a Vestaya on Caitlyn's strike team, whether her strike team is, like, going to be sort of consciously composed of outsiders to the Piltover police otherwise, like people who, like, don't get any respect with the Piltover enforcers otherwise, but whom Caitlyn like sees potential in them and puts them together as like a ragtag team who's going to go and fight Jinx in the Undercity kind of thing that's going on. He also seems to have a little bit of a, like, he looks at Caitlyn and then like he looks down and away and he seems a little sad, right? Whereas Caitlyn, she seems grimly determined, like that's what the expression is, but then also, do you see the slight wavering in her eyes? Right? How they're not quite steady, they're trembling just a little bit. That to me is a sign of like repressed emotion, that she's putting on a strong front, but there's something else going on inside. Like there's some kind of tension, turmoil, something happening in there. Also, that's a scar on your lip there, Caitlyn. How did you get that? Well, where did you get that particular battle damage? I can't remember if she got that battle damage at the end of Season 1. This also kind of looks like the shadow of a bruise to me. So that's curious. Like, this seems to be Caitlyn after she's taken some damage. Maybe after they've tried to go after Jinx and it's blown up in their face, possibly? Who knows? But, like, the little bits of facial acting that I'm catching from Caitlyn here, the little movement of the jaw, the little wavering of the eyes, the little contraction of the eyebrow, it's just all stuff that says to me that she's like processing some difficult emotions as she's standing there. Although what the context is exactly, I don't know. And I think we cut to a completely different scene here. Like, I don't think this is immediately, like, I don't think this shot is immediately followed by this shot in the actual show, both because the color and the lighting seems a little bit different, and also because she doesn't seem to be holding a rifle in that other shot. But this is the introduction of her Hextech rifle, right, for the first time, rather than like the sort of single shot sort of carbine thing that she had before. Now she has the Hextech rifle, and the Hextech rifle is one of the reasons why I don't believe that Jace is dead. It would be weird for his story to end there. It would be a very unsatisfying ending for his story. He doesn't really, his character arc wasn't quite finished, I think, at the end of Season 1, so I don't think he's dead after the attack on the council. But the rifle is a big part of the reason why I don't believe that he's dead at all. And my god, this show just can't stop looking beautiful. The little, you see, the little hand animated lightning effects crackling over the Hextech orb. And like, snap. Snap. And as she cocks the rifle up, right, as she unfolds it, smears, speed lines, like manual hand-painted smears over the top of the motion, which again, oh god, Studio Fortiche, you people, you make things look so fucking good. The way that you animate shit in 3D. The Hex Gauntlet. In the little tiny teaser clip they showed for the Netflix trailer thing that they had, there was someone inserting a new hex crystal or something into the gauntlets. And again, I believe that was Jace's hand doing that. It's hard to tell, but I think that was Jace's hand doing that. Another reason I don't think he's, like, dead. And I don't even necessarily think he's completely incapacitated. And then we get this shot. This was also in the Netflix teaser trailer, which is like this shot of Vi walking forward in her new Enforcer uniform, which fits terribly on her and does not look good on her even a little bit. And the conspicuous flash of the symbol of the Piltover Enforcers, right? Sort of underlining what this is. And again, I've done an hour-long fucking breakdown of the Netflix teaser already. But the thing I want to comment on here is that Vi doesn't look particularly happy in that outfit, does she? She doesn't look particularly proud or excited or elated to be wearing this. She looks unhappy and sad and kind of ashamed and grimly determined. Like, this is a burden. Like, literally the way she walks forward, right? This is a burden that she's carrying. This is something that's, like, hard on her goddamn shoulders to be walking with this shit on her back. But she does it anyway because she has a purpose in mind. I believe that purpose is to try and save Jinx, specifically Powder, but we'll get to that. Now again, if the battle scene we saw earlier, where Vi is walking through this shit, and we see the podium back there, that is the Progress Day podium where Jace was giving, like, his speech for the thing, then this to me kind of looks like that same pavilion, right? Like, that looks like some of the Progress Day pavilion stuff. There's a huge crowd of people down here, which implies that a whole bunch of people have sort of gathered here in order to have a discussion. Now, because of the red light, again, right, I sort of go, oh, blood moon, maybe? Is that like... But no, this seems like it's during the daytime. Like, it's bright enough that there's shadows on the ground, so this is like late in the day, right as the sun is setting. Maybe on the next progress day, maybe there's going to be a little bit of a year-long time skip, something along those lines, where a bunch of Chembaron thugs, or Chemtech thugs, powered by Shimmer, launch an assault on the progress day, whatever, probably, as part of the war. That seems to be what that is, and Vi, I think, was then stalking through the aftermath. Because, like, look how the windows look similar. Stalking through the aftermath of that particular battle. Caitlyn with her lovely little hat there, very grimly determined, saying that her strike squad, oh god, data corruption, has 3 purposes, one of which is to find Jinx, locate her, right, and eliminate anyone who's still loyal to Silco, but to locate Jinx, right? And that's a very specific word choice, which implies that, oh, we're not going to execute her on sight, we're trying to take her in so that she can stand trial, which is interesting. Again, if Caitlyn's mom was killed by Jinx, she certainly does seem to have the look of contempt on her face, right? Like the anger, the determination that would come with a vengeful mindset. So it's interesting that she says find Jinx rather than kill her, right? Which again, I think that sort of points to one of the primary conflicts between Vi and Caitlyn in this episode, is that Vi is going to be a turncoat. I think Vi... There's a clip later on. We'll get there. Taking it chronologically for now. My ADHD is medicated now, but it's still there. Then we have this shot, enforcers with riot shields. Now, notably, they don't have guns, and this seems to be a prison, specifically. So I think at some point during the show, Jinx is going to lead an attack on the prison island, where Vi was held for a long time. I think that might be where she breaks out Seeva, in return for Seeva pledging her loyalty to Jinx, which she is going to do. I feel like I know that for certain. So I think that's probably what this is Jinx staging a jailbreak on the prison island. And then we have these shots, these scenes. So remember how I said that there's a lie in this shot? You'll see it in a moment. Bombs flying out of the ground, like the flame chompers. Vi throwing up her arms to protect herself, presumably with the barrier that she has in the gauntlet. But then we cut to this shot. And wait, hang on. That's not the same place at all. You imply, with the Kuleshov effect, that like, oh, Vi throwing up her hands and the bombs are about to go off, and then a bomb goes off, and you imply then that this is the flash of that bomb, but it's not the flash of that bomb at all. This is a completely different scene in a completely different place. What's going on there? That seems like a little deliberate misdirection, a little deliberate lie. I think it's entirely possible that Vi is sort of charging into this place trying to find Jinx, and the bombs pop up, and she's like throws up her hands to protect herself, and then they go off and it's just confetti, or they don't work as a joke, in the sense of like, remember how Powder could never build a bomb that worked? Maybe that's what's happening here, but they're faking us out by cutting to a shot of a completely different explosion, where we have this guy who looks rather suspiciously, specifically Noxian. He looks like a Trifarian Guard member, in fact. And we have this guy who seems to be... I don't think he's the... Like, we know that Caitlyn's strike team has Vestaya on it. This guy seems to be Vestaya based on his ears, or Kyrian. There's been some... fucking Vestayans, Kyrian. Okay, so there's a species of creature in Piltover and so on that we know from Legends of Runeterra, which is called the Kyrians, right? Which are these Vestaya-esque creatures, sort of animal-esque creatures that are humanoid, but have like sort of these big bat ear things. And ostensibly the Vestaya that we've seen in Piltover and so on so far, and in Arcane, are Kyrians, except they look absolutely fuck all like the Kyrians that we see in Legends of Runeterra. So I don't really understand that, and they seem a lot more like they would be Vestaya, because in the universe of League of Legends, a humanoid person mixed with animal characteristics is typically a Vastaya, not always. Minotaurs like Alistar, for example, are not Vastaya. So that was always my assumption, is that this was a species of Vastaya from Ionia, right? Like to sort of emphasize that Piltover and Zona, like a trading hub of the world, and every species comes through here and settles here and stuff like that. I guess maybe they're Kyrians or Kyrians or however the hell you're supposed to pronounce it. Doesn't really matter that much, but that's something that people have been arguing about in the fandom for a while, is whether these are Vastaya or Kyrians. I'm on the side that they're Vastaya. That would make a lot more sense to me, but you do you. So I don't really recognize any of the other characters in this scene. We have whoever the hell this is, sort of falling as the bombs go off, but these are definitely Jinx's bombs because of the pink and the blue, but I think they're just smoke bombs. Again, I don't think these are actually explosions that are meant to kill anyone. I think they are smoke bombs, flashbangs, something that's supposed to disorient them. Then we have this shot of some cops coming to arrest Singed, who is notably holding a little scalpel in his hand, as though he had been recently operating on something or someone, which, interesting. And he seems to be surrendering perfectly peacefully, and I'm sure he will. Like, I'm sure those two cops, those guys are going to be fine. Nothing bad is going to happen to them. Singed is just going to go, oh, well, you've got me, and then he's going to come along with him, and nothing bad is going to happen to them at all. Definitely not. Don't worry about it. Then, my girl Sevika, with a pistol that looks rather with the pink smoke. Huh, interesting. Pink smoke from the pistol. And then we have this giant Chemtech brute dude who's gonna presumably get one shot by Caitlyn somehow, who's like there with her team. Here we have her Vastaya, Kyrian, whatever the hell he is, companion. There's the girl who looks suspiciously similar in some ways to Marcus's daughter, but that wouldn't make any goddamn sense because she's like 10 at the end of season 1. And so unless there's a big time skip, and that's a thing that I've been wondering. Arcane season 1 was obsessed with mirroring narratives, right? Mirroring narratives of like things reflecting one another or reflecting upon one another, like as one character experiences triumph, another experiences defeat. Like there's mirroring repetition, like history doesn't repeat itself but it rhymes, sort of thing, running through the entirety of Arcane season 1. It's an incredibly intricate web of narrative overlap and crossover that someday I should really fucking do a video essay about that before season 2 drops. But Arcane Season 1 was obsessed with that, which makes me wonder, is Season 2 going to do that as well? Is Season 2 going to mirror the structure of Season 1? Because if it is, then what you would expect is that we get the first act of the story where where the stakes and everything that's happening and like the general conflict of the story is introduced and we get to introduce to our characters, after which there is a time skip. Right, that's what happened in season 1. After the first act, there was a major time skip while Vi was in prison, while Jinx was being raised by Silco. So, if this is footage from Act 2, perhaps, has there been a time skip? Has there been enough of a time skip that Marcus's daughter could have turned like 18, 17, however old you have to be to join the Enforcers, and join Caitlyn's strike squad? I don't think it's impossible. It's a crack theory. I don't think it's likely, but it does make me wonder if if season 2 is mirroring season 1, then is there going to be a time skip after Act 1? I'm curious about that. I don't know. Anyway, Caitlyn's going to shoot that guy, and then like presumably she's going to like burst, because like he already seems to have like you see how like he's already got shimmer sort of bursting out of the pipe in one place. So I think Caitlyn has already taken a shot at that pipe, and now she's going to take another one to sort of like make the whole thing malfunction and make him fall over before he has a chance to kill everyone. I think that's what's going to happen in that scene. Then we have this guy. What's he called? Shmeek, I think I saw his name was on Twitter. Who, my god, I love his fucking character design. I love seeing a Yordle get to be just the horrible, crusty bad guy. I can't remember if he was in season 1. Like, he might have been... oh, no, wait. Yes, he was. He was one of the Chem Barons, wasn't he? Yeah, I think so. I think he was one of the Chem Barons who was present at, like, Silco's meeting. But the fucking comb over with the little tiny hat just sitting on top of it, like... It's a really... As a character design, it's just this really nice mix of both looking like a fucking horrible gremlin. Like, literally a gremlin from Gremlins' ass. Crusty old motherfucker, but then also like that little cartoony whimsiness that the Yordles have, right? Like a little bit of the silliness of the Yordles is also present there, which like I like. He also has specifically seems to have like pinkish purple eyes, which I don't know if that means he's taken Shimmer. Possibly, who knows? But this shot, initially, the first time I saw this shot, I thought, okay, that's a shrine to Jinx then, right? Because we have the hair, like the hairbang hanging down on one side. It's like, but then I took a closer look at it, and I don't think that's Jinx. I definitely don't think it's Janna. That, my friends, I think that's Orianna. I don't think it's like not literally Orianna the character, but I think this is a shrine to Orianna. I think Singed built this, and the reason I think so is because if you look at her skin, all these like engravings that are carved into her skin, like the metal eyelashes thing, those are features of Orianna, right? And also Jinx would never wear like a frilly collar like this, I don't think. Those are features of Orianna. So I think this is Orianna rendered out in metal, probably as she was before she died, before whatever happened to her that forced Singed to rebuild her. And hey, isn't it funny that we saw Singed with a scalpel right as he was about to be apprehended, as though he was kind of in the middle of something, in the middle of doing some kind of operation on someone. I wonder who that could be. I mean, there's someone it could be. We'll talk about him when we get there, but that's Orianna. I'm calling that. That's Orianna. That is Orianna. She was in Silco's locket. Singed locket. I keep getting Silco and Singed confused. She was in Singed locket in season 1. And I think she's gonna show up. I think Orianna is gonna have a presence in season 2. I think she's gonna be there. I don't know how they're gonna integrate her exactly. It might be that she's only present as like a dead robot that Singed is working. Maybe she never activates. Maybe she never gets up until the very end of the season. I think it's entirely possible that Singed's arc over the course of the season is doing everything, right? Is there anything so undoing as a daughter, right? Doing everything, literally getting himself killed, dying, in order to complete his project and revive his daughter, who then stands up as like the ballerina robot. But she doesn't get to have an arc, like she doesn't get to be a character. It's just at the very end of his story, he revives her, and then she's like alive, and you know, something as she steps into some kind of role in the new status quo of Piltover and Zon. Would be my theory about like what her integration would be in the story. It could also be that she never shows up. Like it could also be that we just see all these images and like this obsession with her that Singed has, but that she never shows. It would be weird though to have a whole fucking shrine to her if she wasn't going to show up at all. Now, interestingly, in the base lore of League of Legends so far, Orianna's father has always been Koren Rivek, right? Who is an inventor from Zon, who like helped, like essentially Orianna went out trying to help the sick in Piltover, and her dad was like an sort of inventor who built like mechanical lungs and stuff, and he replaced her body parts slowly over time as she got sicker and sicker from constantly trying to heal the sick in Piltover and Zon, until eventually her heart was replaced with a Hextech heart, and that's when she sort of became the robot that we know and love. Singed, which raises the question to me of whether Singed is going to be her dad now, like her actual father, or if it's some kind of other relationship, right? Maybe he's her uncle, maybe sister. Like that's not impossible that like they could reframe that like because Arcane is so much about sibling relationships, right? It's not impossible to me that we have like a Mr. Freeze situation on our hands where Singed has managed to preserve Orianna in a near death state, and then he's going to revive her with like some Hextech stuff that he gets in part from Victor. I think Victor is going to be a big part of if Orianna shows up and like is alive as an augmented robotic android human. Victor is going to have some part to play in that with his Hex core. Because obviously he is. Of course he is. Because I don't think Shimmer will do it. Where was I going with this? Right, just Orianna. That is Orianna. I'm calling it. That's Orianna. It's Orianna. It can't be Jinx. This is Orianna. It has to be Orianna. I swear to God. Anyway. And then we have like this Noxian hand signaling the firing of arrows, which is presumably from some kind of combat war scene that's happening at some point in the show. Who knows? But then we have Shmeek here having his little fight with Seeva. Another lie is going to be told here, but pay attention to the background here. We have this character over here with the big round, whatever the hell. I don't know if that's their hair or their hat. I don't know who that character is. But I do know who those boots belong to. I do know where those pigtails come from. That's a Jinx standing right there. Behind him, as he charges to meet a foe, who is Seeva. Huh, interesting. Does that mean he's trying to protect Jinx from Seeva? No, I think quite the opposite. I think Jinx has intercepted him as he's trying to smuggle maybe a casket of shimmer out of somewhere. And he's like going to try and fight them, and then Jinx is like, look behind you, and then here comes our girl. We'll get to why I know that Seeva is on Jinx's side here in a second, but first, look at the doubling, right? As he thrusts his hand forward, like into the frame, like really hyper distorted, like deep space perspective, they double, right? So that there's two iterations of his arm on screen at the same time for just one frame to sort of smooth the gap as we come into the actual like landing of the thing. And like this fucking running animation, man, like the wildness, the scrambling, the flapping of his gums as he's charging forward, it just looks fucking fantastic. God, the animation of this show is going to be so fucking good. Oh my god. Fully deploying combat mode there. And here we get Seeva. Here's how I know she's on Jinx's side. Look at that prosthetic arm she has now. That's not the one she got from Silco. That has spray paint all over it. It has a big jaw, like fish bones. Like, this looks literally like fish bones. It has the eye motif. It has, like, the little beaded decorations things all over it. Seeva got that arm from Jinx. 100% she got it from Jinx. Jinx is the one who built that for her. I think Seeva is going to be Jinx's enforcer. In season 2. Like, it's not impossible that maybe she stole it from Jinx, but why would Jinx have built an arm like that except specifically custom built for Seeva? Like, maybe Sevica's trying to get revenge on Jinx. Like, Jinx and Seeva have a strained relationship at best, right? Seeva might want to kill Jinx, but I don't know why that guy would try and protect Jinx from Seeva necessarily, because like he's loyal. Like, he gets shown for the first time when the trailer goes, we need to find anyone who's still loyal to Silco. And he gets shown there as though he's loyal to Silco. I don't think so. The Chem Barons seem pretty ready to like double cross Silco at the first chance they got. Which again is where I'm thinking like Seeva is going to be Jinx's assassin here. She's going to be Jinx's like enforcer. Perhaps against her will a little bit, but like in the spirit of carrying on the legacy of Silco, which is the only thing that Seeva is loyal to, right? She's loyal to the legacy of Silco. I don't know that this guy is going to be the one who upholds that legacy. So, anyway, Seeva doing a full One Punch Man here, like into the frame, shot traces down along the arm, we come up here, like that's fully like that's a classic One Punch Man shot. And we get another lie, right? Just like, oh, we get the bombs popping out of the ground and there's an explosion, so presumably that was the bombs going off, except we cut to a completely different scene. Same thing. Here we get like the moment before they clash, and then there's a bright white flash of light. Oh, surely that's the bright white flash of light from when they clash. No! Victor. You see that cane? That's Victor. He's wearing like a big robe overcoat. His arm, I can't quite tell. I think it looks kind of metal to me. He's doing some fucking hex core shit here. He's doing some hex core shit to someone. This is Victor in fucking prophet mode. Like, I think he has turned his cane into like a staff now, right? In the way that it's going to turn into eventually like fully the herald staff of like, he's the herald of glorious evolution of Son. I think he's turned his cane into a staff, and he's going around doing Victor shit, which also leads on to my theory that in the shot all the way the fuck back here, I think maybe, possibly, that's not Jinx. Because, like, those aren't pigtails. Those are like straps of cloth. I think there's a possibility that is Victor. I think it's just barely possible that maybe that ain't like, because again, the voiceover says, oh, my sister, blah, 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 blah. And this comes like immediately after this shot of like Jinx, and like we get like it's right before we get into like Vi, my sister is gone. So the trailer is trying very hard to convince you, oh, definitely this is Jinx, and this is like because Vi is talking about her sister is gone, and that's Jinx, and she's like receded into the shadow and stuff. Ha ha ha. But I think they're lying to us again, and this might possibly, conceivably, maybe be Victor. As for the other characters in this scene, I can't really identify them. The resolution is too low. I don't know who they are. I think it might be Firelights, possibly. This could be Savika. I don't know. I don't know who these characters are. I have no idea who they are, but I just know that that is motherfucking Victor. The red on the inside of the fucking cloak. And his new character design, I think, is going to be pretty fucking rad. I'm just expecting it to be really rad. Riot have held it really close to their chest that there's going to be a VGU for Arcane, but they won't say who, right? There's some theories going around Twitter that it might be Janna. I don't think that's impossible. But my bet would be that it's Victor. Like, my bet would be if anyone is getting a visual update for Arcane, it's going to be Victor. Because Victor's normal form in League of Legends is the one that is by far the most removed from all of the aesthetics of Arcane as a show, right? He's a fan-favorite character. He's incredibly important to the story, and his in-game incarnation in League of Legends is absolutely shit all, fuck all, nothing like what he is in the show, right? Like, Victor is the character I think has by far the greatest disconnect between the show and the game. Like, Vi also has a pretty bad disconnect there, but I think Victor is the one who has by far the worst one. So my bet would be that it's Victor who's getting the VGU. Then we get just like a glimpse of our boy Ekko. Not much you can really tell from this except that, like, some kind of door is opening. He's stepping out into the light, which maybe implies that he's been hiding for a while. Something along those lines. Heck if I know. I don't actually know. But then we get this shot. And this is very much some Les enfants de la patrie. Like, it's very much that kind of imagery. This is Jinx as a liberator, right? Like, with the fucking, like, the halo behind her head, almost as though she's a saint, holding up a flag, presumably the flag of Zaun, that's, like, billowing heroically in the wind. Like, this is fully some French Revolution imagery right the fuck there, with, like, followers in the background all dyeing their hair blue to sort of match her, casting her as, like, this liberating force in Zaun, which I think is... The thing is that Jinx herself is maybe not going to care that much about liberating Zaun, so much as she cares about tearing down Piltover, but the people of Zaun, and especially the ones who followed Silco, and especially after Piltover launches an all-out fucking war on Zaun over what Jinx has done, I think there's going to be a rallying behind Jinx as like a liberating figure, as like a revolutionary against Piltover, in response to like crackdowns from Piltover on the regular population. But yeah, just an explosion shot. I couldn't really find anything particularly noteworthy here, except that this looks like a checkpoint, right? This looks like a prison wall, frankly, but this is a checkpoint, I believe, which hasn't been built in Zaun and being patrolled by like the enforcers. So like they are stepping up their control over Zaun, creating military checkpoints in the middle of the city, sort of controlling who gets to come and go. And what we're seeing here is an assault on one of those checkpoints. My sister is gone, Vi, huh? Gone, you say. I don't believe this for a second. Couple of reasons. First of all, the facial acting, right? Vi is saying, my sister is gone. I just, like... But I don't get the sense that she means it very much. If Vi says something like, my sister is gone, that's going to be one of the most painful things she has ever had to admit in her life. That's going to be one of the most heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching things she has ever had to say out loud, ever. That powder is gone. At the end of Season 1, Jinx asks Vi, are we still sisters? And Vi says, nothing will ever change that. And I think she meant that. I don't think she means this at all. I think she's lying. I think she's lying just like the trailer is lying. The trailer, especially with the ending shot of like Vi and Jinx having a confrontation, is sort of trying to get us to believe That Vi and Jinx, like, oh, this is going to be the tragic ending of the story where Vi and Jinx, like, kill each other or something like this is the final breaking of their family. They can never come together again. They can never, like, rekindle their love as sisters. It's impossible. That's what the trailer is trying to make you believe. I think that's a lie. I think it's lying to us, and I think Vi is lying in this shot, and I think specifically she's lying to Caitlyn. I think if anything, this is going to be a scene where her loyalty is being questioned, right? Like, we're trying to find Jinx, like, we're going to have to take her down. Like, we might have to kill her. Are you ready for that? And then Vi lies and says, my sister is gone. Definitely. Take me with you. Just take me with you to take her down, because I'm totally ready to do it. My sister's gone. There's just a monster left. I'm going to kill it. Don't you even worry about it. I'm going to be super loyal to the mission. I am not going to double-cross you. I'm not going to try and protect my sister at all. I'm not going to do it. So don't you worry about me. I'm going to come along. I think she's lying. I think she's lying specifically to Caitlyn, because I think the mission to take down Jinx is going to be the wedge that drives the conflict in their relationship. Because Vi, for all that she's definitely experiencing the beginnings of a blossoming love with Caitlyn, and for all that the two of them definitely want to be able to be together, wish that circumstances are different, I don't think Vi is ever going to choose Caitlyn over her sister. I don't think she's going to do it. I don't think she can. So I think Vi is lying here. She does have her goggles now, which is nice. Parts of her character design are starting to come together, right? Like, she's not quite there yet, because she's still wearing that ugly-ass blue uniform that doesn't fit her and that doesn't suit her at all. Vi also looks absolutely nothing yet like her character design in League of Legends. More like it, especially with the goggles, especially with the hair being what it is here. But she doesn't quite look like her League of Legends incarnation yet. Not quite. Which leads us on to another lie I think the trailer is telling you. We'll get there. Then we get this one shot of Heimerdinger sort of looking up in shock at something, and given that that something is bright blue light flashing around, I think he's looking at some Hextech related nonsense that's happening, some kind of hex something or other anyway, in shock at what's happening, and I don't think it's impossible that the thing he's looking up in shock at is this scene right here. This is more purple tinted because, of course, the hex core is tinted with the void, but it might be possible that this is like Heimerdinger looking over and going, oh god, oh no, Victor, what have you done? Right, like sort of about to be shocked by the scientific advancements that Victor has made. Then we get our boy, our man, our puppy, our big chunky werewolf Warwick, or Vander, as his name is presumably not gonna be for some reason. No context whatsoever for when the fuck he's gonna show up. Everything is red, which again, maybe this is like, it's not in, well, no, he can't have shown up here yet. Like maybe he shows up immediately after the explosion of the council was what I was about to say, but that's not logistically possible at all. Singed surely hasn't finished turning him into Warwick yet, which is the other thing. If there's a time skip happening, right? Because when we saw Vander's body in Singed's laboratory, he was clearly not done, right? Like, Singed hadn't finished turning him into Warwick yet. Clearly not. Singed is going to need some time to do that, which again, is there going to be a time skip? Is it going to happen that after Act 1 of Season 2, there's going to be a time skip, during which time Singed manages to lay the final touches on Warwick and unleash him into the city? I wonder. I'm curious. I do not know. Right, this has to end. And here's another reason why Jace is definitely not dead. That's an acceleration gate. That's what that is. That's basically the same technology. Remember in Season 1, the big tower that sort of shoots airships off into the sky, like the Hex Gate? This is that. This is a Hex Gate. This is an acceleration gate specifically. And that is Jace technology, right? Like that, even in League of Legends, even in the video game, acceleration gates, that is Jace's thing. So Jace made the rifle. Jace gave it a thing of like, you pull the trigger and an acceleration gate opens and that accelerates the bullet. A bullet which he probably also made. So that's Jace. Like, Jace is definitely alive. 100%. Not a bold prediction, I don't really think. And then we get this. The confrontation between Vi and Jinx, right? Pay attention to Vi's facial acting here. That's not the look of someone who's ready to kill someone, I don't think. It's anger. It's disgust, it's resignation, it's pain. It's someone who's like gathering their courage for a second before she shouts, Jinx, right? And I think in this scene, Vi has been running through this place shouting, Powder! Powder, where are you? Right? And gets nothing, right? Like nothing whatsoever. And so realizing what the game is, right? Realizing that she's not going to get an answer from Powder because Powder isn't at the phone right now. She's not at the controls. She goes, God fucking damn it. And goes, Jinx! And that's when Jinx says, you finally got the name right. And these fucking pillars, man, holy shit. Jinx is painting her memories. That's the monkey that exploded and blew everything up. That's Milo and Clagger, dead. That is happy little Powder with monstrous, scary Vi. Right? This is a representation of how Jinx sees her childhood memories. Before, we had very much like a Powder influenced visual like when Powder was drawing art, when Jinx was drawing art of things in the world, it was very much from Powder's perspective, right? It was very much from Powder's perspective, like this idealized, this childish longing for a return to innocence. Now I think this is Jinx. I think this is Jinx's art. We have Vander carrying Powder and Vi across the bridge at the very start of Season 1. We have Vander's body in the fire as Powder is sitting in front of him crying because Vi has walked away. Can't quite tell what this is 100%. That there, we're going to see later, that's Silco dead with a bunch of bullets in him. Not 100% sure what that is either. I think it might be Caitlyn. I think that might be Jinx's representation of Caitlyn. Possibly. I can't quite tell, but she's in a smoke cloud, which, I don't know. I don't 100% know. But it is Jinx painting her past. And this is Janna. I'm reasonably confident that this is an old temple to Janna somewhere in Zaun. That Jinx is hiding out in, and that Janna is going to show up as like a background element in this season. Much in the same way that I think Targon stuff is going to be in the background, sort of an element of how Ambessa decorates herself in Noxus, like sort of with conquered gold or whatever, because she's the governor of that province, something along those lines. I think there's going to be a little bit more presence of Janna in Piltover and Zaun. She is a goddess who resides in Zaun, specifically, after all. She's the goddess of fresh air there. Again, I don't think Janna is going to show up. I don't think she's going to manifest her powers. I don't think she's going to be a part of the story. But I think like there's going to be more elements of like mythology. Like I think we might see the kindred as well, right? Not in the sense that they're going to be literally present. Like Lamb is not literally going to come out when someone dies, but like that there's going to be little symbols of death, right? Like that like some soldiers, like Noxian soldiers, might wear the symbol of the wolf, for example, which is like the symbol of death that they prefer. And like maybe there'd be little shrines to Janna around Zaun a little bit more now. Like maybe little things that sort of indicate the broader presence of the mythology and like the godlike divine creatures of the Runeterra world will be more present, because again, the show now is no longer siloed off away from the main canon. It is the main canon. And here we have Jinx standing on top of a representation of the monkey, right? Like the bomb that she set off that killed Milo and Clagger, that ended Act 1 of Season 1. At the end of Act 1 of Season 1, Jinx Pyro sets off the bomb, Milo and Clagger die, everything goes straight the fuck to hell, like Vander dies, Vi has to seems to abandon her, and then is kidnapped by Marcus, she's picked up by Silco, like that's when everything went wrong. That's the inflection point, right? Like this is the big inflection point of the first act of Season 1. And because Arcane is a show that loves parallels, that loves like the little back and forth, that loves repeating history, making history rhyme, I think this is episode 3 of Act 1. If it's anywhere. I think this is episode 3 of Act 1, in part because Vi isn't herself yet. Vi is still wearing the fucking Enforcer uniform. Vi doesn't fully have her new character design yet, or doesn't have her normal character design yet. She hasn't become herself yet. If this was the end of Act 3, right? If this was the end of the show as a whole, Vi wouldn't look this bad. Like, because honestly, like, that uniform is terrible on her. The blue is such a terrible, terrible clash with her red hair. It's such a terrible clash with her aesthetic. Like, the little tutu thing that she's got hanging off her there, that's a feature of her base League of Legends character design now, but here it looks ridiculous. It looks terrible. It doesn't match at all with what the fuck the rest of this uniform is. There's Silco with bullets in his chest, by the way. It doesn't match at all with anything else that she's got going on. So I don't think this is the end, this is not the end of season 3. I don't think even season 2. I don't think even it's the end of Act 2. I think this is the end of Act 1. There's going to be a confrontation between Vi and Jinx. I think Vi is going to pull her punches because she can't. Like, she's trying. I think at this point, maybe she's sort of trying, I have to take her down, right? At least, like, I have to stop her from doing what she's doing. I think maybe she believes that, but I don't think she can do it. I think she's going to fail to take down Jinx. And I think, and this is based on the poster that they posted for season 2, where, like, in season 1, there was a poster of Vi and Powder, where Vi is, like, holding Powder tightly in a hug, sort of protectively defending her, and you get Powder with that little innocent stare, like one little light beam sort of poking out. And season 2 has a poster that mirrors that, because again, Arcane is a show that's insane about, like, mirroring things and making things rhyme, where it is Jinx who is holding on to Vi, like, just grabbing onto her tight, possessively, defensively, and Vi looking kind of scared in her sister's arms, actually. Like, and I think at the end of Act 1, Vi can't do it. Vi can't take down her sister. She's going to try. She's going to think that she's going to be able to do it, but she's not going to be able to do it. She's not going to be able to hurt her. And Jinx is going to take Vi down and kidnap her. And that's where Vi turns turncoat, right? Like, that's where, I think that's where Vi is going to have most of the thing. Like, she's going to be separated from Caitlyn. She's going to be separated from Piltover. I think she's going to be captured by Jinx. And I think she might end up on Jinx's side at the end of the show. Possibly. I don't think, and this is just a theory, I don't think she's going to end season 3 as an enforcer of Piltover anymore. I don't think she's going to be that. I don't think she's going to be a Piltover enforcer at the end of the show. Again, because, first of all, the uniform looks terrible on her. Secondly, it's clearly not her final character design. I think she might end up as a vigilante, maybe, something along those lines, but I don't think she's going to end up as an enforcer. I think part of Arcane is going to be eventually retconning that, like, so that, like, because Vi in League of Legends, the base game, is sort of police brutality, the character, right? Like, that's her whole thing, is just like puns and jokes about how fun it is to beat up suspects, punch them first, ask questions while punching. That's like her whole thing in League of Legends, and that was already a little tonally problematic back when she first released, but in the years since, it has gotten worse, right? Like, that's a worse thing to have a champion in a video game who's like, yeah, police brutality, woo, it's funny. It's tonally not great, right? So I think at the end of Arcane season 2, Vi is not going to be an enforcer anymore. Like, insofar as if she's gonna be an enforcer, right? She's not gonna be the enforcer of Piltover. I think she's gonna be the enforcer of Zaun. I think that's the position that they're, like, that's what they're going to slide her into, is the position of being the enforcer of Zaun, a protector of Zaun, like someone who defends Zaun against, like Piltover's interference, but also maybe, she's, like, takes care of, like, whatever law enforcement looks like in Zaun, something like that. Like, I think that's where they're going to position her at the end of the show. And I'll probably do a fucking long-ass, preachy, boring video essay about the politics of Arcane about that at some point. But that's my theory about where this is going to go. I think Vi is going to lose this fight. I think she's going to get kidnapped by Jinx. I think Jinx is going to try and convert her, right? Like, try and get her back on her side, like, by saying, like, I am the one who's carrying on Vander's legacy. I am the one who's carrying on, like the legacy of our home. You've turned traitor. Like, you fucking, like, you went with the fucking enforcers. How could you do that? Those people killed everything from us. And I think at the end of it, Vi is going to change sides. And I think that'll be the tragedy with her and Caitlyn, is that they're not going to be able to end up together, much though they want to. Like, the barriers of their differences are just too great. Look at the facial acting here. Look at Vi's face. Yeah, she looks angry, but that's not really what this is. This is not, I'm gonna take her down. This is not, I'm gonna fucking get her. This is not, I'm gonna fucking beat her. This is pain. This is hurt. I think. That's my interpretation anyway. This is hurt. This is sadness. Jinx looks fully feral. Like, Jinx looks ready to throw hands. Like, she's been ready to kick at Vi's ass since Act 2 of Season 1, right? Like, she's had that resentment boiling up inside her for a long-ass time, and Vi has nothing but guilt. That's the only thing Vi basically has at this point towards her sister, is just guilt. Guilt at leaving her alone, guilt at not being there for her, guilt at being unable to save her from Silco, guilt at being unable to stop her, guilt. And I don't think she can do it. She can't throw that punch. She can't land it. Because she loves her sister too much. And, like, my sister is gone? Not a fucking chance in the world. Vi would never say that. Vi would never believe it. Never. Not under any fucking circumstances would she ever believe it. I simply don't buy it. She's going to lose this fight. Jinx is going to kidnap her. There's going to be some drama about that along the way. And this trailer is lying to you. Like, if you just watch this trailer with no additional context, what it looks like it's setting up is like, okay, the arc of the season is that, like, Vi is going to spend all this time trying to find her sister, and she's going to have to, like, come to terms with the fact that Powder is gone, and she's going to have to let go of her, and this is the final confrontation between the two sisters. Oh my god, it's going to be so great. I don't think that's it at all. I think this is the final confrontation between the two sisters in Act 1, and then we're going to go. Those are my theories. Anyway, that's everything I've been able to pick out of this trailer. I'm sure other creators are going to go through this one even more meticulously. Maybe they can find a higher resolution rendition of this fucking trailer. I could only get the 1080p version at really fucking terrible bit compression, which made seeing a lot of things really fucking difficult, which is annoying. But that's the best I got right now. That's all I've got right now. They're going to post more teasers and trailers for this show. Hopefully, I'm really hoping that they'll do the same thing they did for Season 1. For Season 1, they posted a whole scene from the show. The scene of Jinx in the entertainment arcade beating up the robot that Vi used to box against. And I did an animation breakdown of that, which I want that because I was able to see so much of what the show was about to do. I was able to see so much of what they were putting down. Like, that to me was beautiful. Like, I really hope so. I want that, both for content, because it's good content, right? But also because, like, I want to see, I want to know what's happening here. You're lying to me in this trailer. I know you're lying to me. Riot, you sacks of shit, you bastards, you motherfuckers, you're lying to me. You are lying to my face and laughing. I know you are. I see through you. And I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen in this fucking show. I've sussed it all out from the beginning, man. I'm inside your walls. I know it. Fuck you. I'm normal. Fuck you. I'm normal about this show. I'm normal. I'm a normal man. See, Marlo and Clagger right there, dead. Marlo and Clagger dead because Jinx is still consumed by the trauma that she killed her friends. And it's evoking the end of Act 1 of Season 1, because this is the end of Season 2, Act 1. That's what's going to be happening here. They're mirroring it. I know they are. I swear to God I'm right. I swear to God I'm right. Also, just, my God, it looks so pretty. The fucking smoke animation. And, like, look at Vi bursting. Like, look at the fucking key posing on Vi here. Like, that. God, it's pretty. It's so fucking beautiful. It just, again, the bit compression. This is one thing. They've announced 4K and Blu-ray DVDs of Arcane, like physical media. First of all, I'm going to get those, but also, finally 4K, holy shit! Because Netflix and like all the rips and stuff of like all the footage that you can get off of the Netflix version is like, look at this. Look at this fucking banding. Look at this fucking bit crushing of like the fucking compression algorithms trying to deal with like a scene that's even a little bit fucking dark. Look at this fucking, oh my God, it's so ugly. It's terrible. This show deserves so much. I need to see it in 4K. I need to see this whole fucking show in 4K. I want Season 2 in 4K as well. You can't leave me looking at shit that looks like this. Oh my God, no. Absolutely the fuck not. It's so pretty, though. I really am curious about the Targon connection. Like, because this, to me, this looks like a fucking Solari. Like, this looks like a Solari face mask, like, from several of the cards in Legends of Runeterra. This does not look like anything Noxian. Gold is not a standard part of the Noxian color scheme, but gold is very much part of Mel's color scheme. Like, Mel's primary character color is gold. Like, that is her primary motif as a character in season 1. Like, pay attention to gold and Mel in that season. Like, that's very much her color, which again makes me think, like, Ambessa is like, it's like she's putting on Mel's colors, right? Which again to me signals like this would be a mother, like that she's wearing Mel into battle, right? Like she's wearing visual signifiers of her daughter into a fight, which again is this sort of thing that kind of implies to me that maybe Mel is actually dead, or maybe just critically injured. Again, like it could be a thing of like just that Mel and Jace will start the season just like critically injured from the attack on the council, but not dead. Something along those lines. Victor might survive the attack on the council by way of having the hex core with him. Maybe that protects him, right? Like maybe, oh god, like, oh, fuck, if he has the hex core with him, he gets blasted with some shrapnel, blood falls on the hex core, and then the hex core, of course, is gonna go off and do its thing. Like last time, Sky prevented Victor from being sucked into the hex core. Like it prevented the hex core from finishing whatever it was about to do to him. Maybe at the council, if the bomb hits and his blood is spilled on the hex core and no one's around to sacrifice themselves to stop it, maybe that's where it happens. Maybe that is where the glorious evolution begins. I don't think so. That's a very weird speculation. Oh my god, the fucking... I'm sorry. This is a graphical glitch, I think, with my graphics card or something. I don't know what the fuck that happens. It's very annoying. But just look how pretty. Like the clouds just like gently sweeping over this thing as it emerges. Like, look how gorgeous the fucking colors are. Look how gorgeous the fucking colors would be. Netflix, YouTube compression, fuck you. Upload a 4K trailer. Why is the trailer not in 4K at least? Well, because they can't promise 4K resolution on Netflix, so why would they upload a 4K trailer? That seems like false advertising. But do it for me at least! Like, Riot, you have represent... I know people. You could just send the 4K trailer to me. Just to me. Just send me the 4K trailer so I can see all the details. So for example, I could go to the shot with a guy jumping at Seeva, and I could look at the background, and maybe I could identify who the fuck that is. Maybe I could see some details. Maybe that would be a character I actually knew. Non-zero chance that it's one of the Chem Barons that maybe Jinx has on her side at this point. But, you know, I just want to see, right? I just want to be able to see shit. I just want to be able to see things. I can't see shit at this stupid resolution. This show deserves to be in 4K from the start. Like, immediately it deserves to be in 4K. Ekko, right. I didn't speculate at all about Ekko because the trailer just doesn't show anything related to him or the Firelights, like, at all. He just shows up very briefly. The question is, does he get his time powers, right? Because hang on. My suspicion with Ekko, my presumption was, Heimerdinger is with the Firelights now, right? Like, he's hanging out with Ekko, they're doing stuff together, Ekko is showing him, like the inventions that he's making and the science that he's doing. My assumption is that Heimerdinger is going to be with Ekko and the Firelights, and that Heimerdinger is going to help Ekko invent the Z drive. He's going to help him invent the time travel machine. And if Ekko has a storyline in this season, I would imagine, this is speculation based on nothing but vibes. Like, I have no evidence for this. This is wildly... My thinking would be, they can't really necessarily give him time travel powers to do all his regular Ekko shit, like having his shade trail run behind him. But what if he and Heimerdinger build some kind of a time machine to try and go back and fix things? What if that's the thing that Ekko is doing this season? Traveling back in time, trying to prevent things from happening. Trying to fix something, trying to stop things from going so wrong. And, like, presumably, like, my assumption would be, if that is the case, they will find that they can't. Like, they will find that they can't make it stop. They can't prevent things from happening the way that they do. And that's going to be part of the thing about, like sometimes shit just turns out bad and you can't do anything about it. Because that would sort of be like, Ekko has just traveled back in time, right? And he's sort of in the tunnels under Piltover and so on. He's about to step out into the light and see what the past looks like, right? Like, this is going to be his first look at the new world that he has traveled to. Again, this is based on nothing but vibes and assumptions. My assumption was, because Heimerdinger was with the Firelights at the end of Season 1, okay, right, Heimerdinger is going to be the one who helps Ekko learn how to manipulate Hextech technology. That's going to be how he ends up inventing the Z-Drive. That's going to be how he gets his time powers, right? And if he has time powers, if this kid literally has the ability to time travel, and Ekko's whole thing, remember, Ekko's whole thing in the base game is that he keeps going back in time over and over and over again, trying to fix all of his mistakes, trying to do everything perfectly, right? Like, that's his whole thing, is that he has this obsession with going back in time and fixing things, right? Like, I can fix it, I can make it better again, I can make it good. That's his whole thing in the base League of Legends game. So again, my assumption would be like that was going to get brought over to his Arcane incarnation, right? That in his Arcane incarnation, he's also going to be obsessed with finding a way to fix things, right? Finding a way to stop the bad stuff from ever happening in the first place. So my thinking would be that would be his thing in Season 2, is that he's going to be, like, he's going to time travel back to the past, try and prevent things from happening. He's going to fail. Like, he's not going to be able to stop things from happening the way that they are, but he's going to learn a whole bunch of important backstory stuff. Like, for example, maybe he meets Singed in the past, and maybe that's how we get the backstory of, like, what the deal is with Singed and Orianna, like, why he's trying so hard, like, why he has her in the locket, why he's doing all the mad science that he's doing to try and revive her. Maybe he meets them in the past, maybe he befriends them, maybe Orianna becomes his friend in the past, and, like, the main thing that happens in the present is that he gets to see Orianna again, and she remembers him, and then there's some drama there or something like that. Just idle thoughts. Rampant speculation based on nothing. I don't expect any of this to be true, not even a little bit. This is just my brain running away with me in terms of, like, what could happen in the season based on what Ekko's powers are, what his themes are in League of Legends. Would be that he becomes, like, the guy who travels into the past to get us information about, like, Singed and Silco. Maybe he meets Vander and Silco when they're still young and sort of gets some more information about their conflict, right? And maybe he learns something in the past. Maybe he learns something about Silco and Vander's conflict, and he brings that back to the present, and he tells Vi about, like, something Vander said or Vander wanted, or some part of the story of the conflict between the two of them that makes Vi change sides or decide that, no, actually, I'm going to fight for Zaun rather than being on Piltover's side in any way, shape, or form. Like, maybe that's the thing that does it. Oh my god, I am exciting myself with bullshit and nonsense that's never going to come true. That's not going to happen. That's not going to be in the season. I'm just thinking, wouldn't it be cool if it was? Yes, it would be cool. It would be amazing. Everything about this season could be amazing. I don't know what's going to happen. It's freaking me out. No, I know everything is going to happen. I see through all of this. I can path it out in my fucking mind. I have, like brain powers. I see every possible future. I am Doctor Stranging it over here. And on the other hand, also, I'm completely ignorant. I have no idea of anything that's going to happen. Everything I just said might be wrong. This trailer might not contain a single shot that's actually going to end up in the final show. Who knows? The trailer's lying to us. Riot is lying to us. Vi is lying to us. Jinx is lying to us. Ekko is lying to us. They're all lying to us. There are no truths. I will never figure out what's happening, and I need this fucking show now, right? I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I am very excited for Arcane Season 2. I look forward to it. I'm going to be very pleased to see some more trailers dropping. Riot, if you want to get in touch about the promotional, like last time you premiered an Arcane season, you let me stream the whole first episode on my Twitch channel. I'd like to do that again. That was fun. Maybe send me another one of those boxes with, like, merch stuff. That would be lovely. I'd love to be a part of it. Listen, I have my principles, but I will sell out for this. I just want to be clear. Like, if you see me doing promotional shit with Riot for Arcane Season 2, yes, I am selling out my principles. I'm the easiest lay in the world for this particular show. Absolutely. I'm half kidding. But but you should be aware of that. I do have a pre-existing relationship with Riot. Not always a positive one. I'm generally very hostile to Riot's executive class. But I did do official promotion for Riot for Arcane Season 1. Like, I was part of, like, a creator program for that, where we were supposed to do videos about it. That got cancelled after we all put out our first videos because of internal politics bullshit at Riot. I don't exactly know what happened. But I was part of that. So I do have a conflict of interest here when I'm so excited about the show. That should probably be pointed out, is that, yeah, I have a conflict of interest. I have... Riot, maybe, if I'm lucky, will reach out about some official promotional stuff. So, obviously, I'm not going to talk shit about it, right? I also earnestly love it. God, this fucking show is so fucking good. Season 1 was, anyway. Maybe Season 2 will be shit. I don't actually know. Season 2 could drop the whole ball on the floor. This is something I've been worried about. I talked about this also in my video about why Arcane shouldn't be the center of the canon, is that Season 1 was such an extreme, runaway, unexpected, massive, impossible success. Like, it was the biggest success that Riot has ever had externally with anything they've done, like, short of, like, even more successful than KDA in some ways, with a mainstream audience. It was prestigious, it won awards, it got mainstream news coverage, it got a huge new audience of people into the League of Legends universe. And because of that, for Season 2, I guarantee you, every corporate viper, like every single one of those fucking snakes, every single one of those vultures are gonna have been circling, right? There's gonna been so much more demand from Riot leadership, Riot management to, hang on, we need to, like, put this thing in there, put that thing in there, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to set up for a cinematic universe, you need to do this thing, you need to do that thing, we want crossovers, we want more champions in there, we want more promotion, we want, like, more stuff that can sell skins in there. I guarantee you the pressure to do that has been fucking on for Season 2. Right? I guarantee you there has been more executive meddling. I trust Alex Yee and Christian Linke. I trust the artists at Fortiche to have been able to resist it. Like, I trust that Season 2 is not going to have been too compromised by it. But I wonder whatever Season 3 of Arcane, or whatever the follow-up to Arcane is going to be. Like, I do worry about the quality of the show going forward, because the vultures are going to be circling now, right? Like, much in the same way that, like the fucking executives at Marvel drove the MCU into the fucking ground. I don't think Arcane is going to be immune to that at all. And I also think after the overwhelming success of Arcane, a lot of the creative talent from that show are going to find huge numbers of new opportunities elsewhere, right? Like the same writers who wrote Season 1 might not be, and most of Season 2 might not be available for whatever comes next, because they're going to have extremely lucrative offers coming in from, like, Disney and fucking Universal, and God knows who else will want to hire the writers who did this, and they're going to be able to pitch original projects. They're going to have a lot more opportunities outside of the orbit of this. So once the central creative team that drove the creation of Arcane in the first place dissolves, I don't think we're guaranteed that it's going to keep being good. I think Season 2 is going to be. I trust that Season 2 is going to be, because the same people are still holding the reins, right? But the meddling is going to increase in intensity. Like, it's going to get more. It's gonna, like, the cooks are going to be mashing their way into the kitchen. And, like, greater productions than this have fallen to that kind of corporate meddling, right? I don't want to end it on a doom and gloom note, but I do feel like I should point out my conflicts of interest, which is that I am a simp for this show. I am a whore. I'm the cheapest lay in the world for this particular show. So, like, don't expect me to be the most critical voice about it ever. I just don't think I have it in me. And also that, like, this beautiful thing, cherish it while it's here, because this might be as good as it's ever gonna get, right? Anyway, that's a bummer ending. I want Arcane. You have no idea how much I need this fucking show in my life. You have no idea. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. You don't understand it. You don't see. You don't see like I see. You don't get it. You don't get it, man. You don't get it. I'm fine. Fuck you. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Okay. Oh. That's the wrong file. Why is that playing back now? There we go. That's the right one. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm gonna call it an animation breakdown, but the person breaking down is me. Yeah, thanks. Hi, thanks for watching. Thanks for sitting through until this point. My God. Okay. I'm kind of coming down from a high here. Yes, Patreon, things like that. You can support me on Patreon if you want to. But right at the moment, if you have extra money lying around, instead of giving it to me, maybe consider giving it to Doctors Without Borders or the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund, because there's like, I'm doing fine right now. I'm doing okay. Like, more money is nice always, of course it is, but I'm doing fine. My rent is paid, my bills are paid, I'm okay. I don't need it so much. So if you have an extra dollar, maybe throw it their way instead. Like, comment, subscribe. Go over to my reaction channel, where you can find like my immediate reaction to the trailer, my immediate like rampant speculation based on nothing, as well as reactions to other things, like a full fucking hour. If you want more just rampant Arcane speculation, I have a full fucking hour based on the 12-second bits of footage that Netflix showed a few days ago. I'm doing reactions to the show Hell of a Boss over there. I'm gonna finish up an episode of Elden Ring, and then I'm gonna get back to doing that. I've got some Freerun, some Dungeon Meshi. Those two shows have also been driving me insane with how good they fucking are. So that's there. I have a Let's Play channel. You can go follow that one if you want to. I have a Shorts channel where I do short videos. I might do some shorts about Arcane as well. I think I have one in me about the character design of Arcane that might go up over there at some point in the near future. So subscribe to that if you want to. Yeah, I think that's all the self-promotion that I have for you right now. So if you've watched the video all the way through to this point, why? What are you doing here? You must have better things to do with your time than listen to a man slowly have a mental breakdown. But if you have, thank you. I appreciate it, and you can let me know that you have. You can prove it by if you leave a comment, you can put a specific emoji down there. And let's make it a water-themed emoji. Any kind of water-themed emoji. Put that down there. It's just because I'm thinking of Silco in the river and Jinx in the river being reborn, the baptism thing. Do that. And like, maybe some people would get confused about them, but put some water emojis in your comments. I will leave a heart on it to let you know that I've seen your comment and I've read it, because you watched the video all the way through to the end. The least I can do is pay you some attention in turn. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for your time and your attention. Remember to be kind to one another. Stand in solidarity with those who are struggling, and may the tides of history wash gently over us all. Release the fucking next trailer for this show!